Yeah, hi, my name is Dr. Preeti Jain and I'm head of Net Zero Research and Program at IATA.
Been a big theme of the IATA AGM all the way through from Willie's first opening. Tell us a little bit about kind of where IATA is on this journey.
Yeah, I would say we have a remarkable leadership and a great industry support when it comes to aviation at total. That airline industry in 2021, even before when country could, come together, have committed for the net zero 2050 objective. And we see our leadership is looking at how aviation growth, which is basically a boost for economic growth as well, can be secure and sustainable. And to make that happen, we came up with a net zero 2050 roadmap. And in that roadmap, we see sustainable aviation fuel going to be 63% contributor when it comes to net zero 2050 aspirations or objective is concerned. But I must also underline we should not let go the 40% of that thing, which is basically hydrogen and electric planes offsets, which you will require in 2050 also for the residual emissions and efficiency gains, where basically we need to have modern fleet coming into the play for airlines at large. So that is a commitment part of it, but the real thing is how that is being implemented. And we see the SAF, which is going to be one of the important lever for the net zero. Not even 1% of that SAF is available in the market. There is a capacity, but all of that capacity is not producing because incentives or policies are skewed towards either renewable diesel or other products. I think it's a time to look into the mobility in overall. So we need to see mobility as one unit: road transport, aviation transport, marine transport, and then we prioritize our feedstock. Where we need to put our feedstock. Aviation is a hard to decarbonize sector. I don't see, having a gaseous supply like compressed gas or LNG for aircraft in the near future. And sustainable aviation fuel is the one which is basically similar to conventional jet fuel. So we need to see how government with its policy and support can accelerate the production. There is some movement happening on the policy level, but we can certainly do more and we need to see more.
And of course, you had Prime Minister Modi here at the AGM.
Yeah.
What's your message to him?
Yeah, I would say I was very lucky to see that how India surged to become one of the third largest ethanol producer in the world. And it happened, fortunately, I would say in the last 2 decades when I was building my career also in the industry. So I have seen that success stories. And I would say, in that success stories, incentives, government support, focused on the rural economic empowerment were the center stone. And that, once those stones were set, that foundation was brought in place, I think the success story was bound to happen. And we are witnessing that success story. I'm not, I don't have any question that if government brings right policies in place, they are one of the second largest renewable producer in the world. They are going to have hydrogen mission also. So if you bring all these pieces together, I think for sure India can be a leader in the production of sustainable aviation fuel. And importantly, they don't need all of that SAF for their own demand. I think they can also export that, or they can have other airlines use that and support global aviation net zero in overall big picture.
And as we move towards the closing of the AGM, what have been your kind of key takeaways?
Yeah. So aviation industry has been resilience. That is, I think, a bottom line we all have seen. How aviation can be, can script a sustainable growth story. It's not just about aviation industry players. I think it's a success story at the producer level, at a OEM level, how we bring those sustainable supply chains, how government look beyond borders. I think that's a big picture, big message, at least I got with me. Second is when it looks to the, when we look at the maintenance of those fleets, there are opportunities. We need to create those new hubs. And in developing countries like India, the demand is going to grow significantly. We heard Peter Alberts, how big is that opportunity. And ultimately, all of these big picture of aviation, it has to connect with people. When it comes to whether it is employment, whether it is job creation, whether it is basically environment. So if you get a buy-in from the people at large, you're bound to succeed.
Wise words. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Thank you.